have co-founded and run Inflection AI, and you are creating an AI called Pi, which you can interact with, if you like. Tell us what Pi does.
So Pi stands for personal intelligence, and I believe that over the next few years, everybody is going to have their own personal AI. There are going to be hundreds of thousands of AIs in the world. They'll represent businesses, they'll represent brands, every government will have its own AI, every non-profit, every musician, artist, record label, everything that is now represented by a website or an app is soon going to be represented by an interactive, conversational intelligence service that represents the brand values and the ideas of whatever organization is out there. And we believe that at the same time, everybody will want their own personal AI, one that is on your side, in your corner, helping you to be more organized, helping you to make sense of the world. It really is going to function as almost like a chief of staff, or prioritizing, planning, teaching, supporting you.
So that sounds great. What does it actually mean, though, in practice? Because so often this conversation about AI, it's at this point, then it turns into the apocalyptic. We're going to end up, wiping ourselves out because there'll be some rogue person, sitting in a garage somewhere who will, unleash a virus that will kill us all. So before we get to all of that stuff, in, let's say, I don't know, 5 years. I mean, you've said within the next 3 to 5 years, you think AI will reach human-level capability across a variety of tasks. Perhaps not everything, but a variety. So paint a picture for us of what life will be like in 5 years, at 2028. And first of all, will it be you and me here, or will there be the kind of Mustafa AI and the
Zanny bot? Okay, let me just go back 10 years, just to give you a sense for what has already happened and why the predictions that I'll make, I think, are plausible. So the deep learning revolution enabled us to make sense of raw, messy data. So we could use AIs to interpret the content of images, classify whether an image contains dogs or cats, what those pixels actually mean. We can use it to understand speech. So when you dictate into your phone and it transcribes it and records perfect text. We can use it to do language translation. All of these are classification tasks. We're essentially teaching the models to understand the messy, complicated world of raw input data well enough to understand the objects inside that data. That was the classification revolution, the first 10 years. Now we're in the generative revolution, right? So these models are now producing new images that you've never seen before. They're producing new text that you've never seen before. They can generate pieces of music. And that's because it's the flip side of that coin. The first stage is understanding and classifying, if you like. The second stage, having done that well enough, you can then ask the AI to say, given that you understand, what a dog looks like, now generate me a dog with your idea of pink, with your idea of yellow spots, or whatever. And that is an interpolation. It's a prediction of the space between 2 or 3 or 4 concepts. And that's what's produced this generative AI revolution in all of the modalities. As we apply more computation to this process, so we're basically stacking much, much larger AI models, and we're stacking much, much larger data, the accuracy and the quality of these generative AIs gets much, much better. So just to give you a sense of the trajectory we're on with respect to computation. Over the last 10 years, every single year, the amount of compute that we have used for the cutting-edge AI models has grown by 10x. So 10x, 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 10 times in a row. Now that is unprecedented in technology history. Nowhere else have we seen a trajectory anything like that. Over the next 5 years, we'll add probably 3 or 4 orders of magnitude, basically another 1,000 times the compute that you see used today to produce GPT-4, or the chat model that you might interact with. And it's really important to understand that. That might be a technical detail or something, but it's important to grasp that, because when people talk about GPT-3 or GPT 3.5 or GPT-4, the distance between those models is in fact 10 times compute. It's not incremental, it's exponential. And so the difference between GPT-4 and GPT-2 is in fact 100 times worth of compute. The largest compute infrastructures in the world, basically to learn all the relationships between all the inputs of all of this raw data.
So what does that mean? What does that entail, enable them to do?
In the next phase, we'll go from being able to perfectly generate, so speech will be perfect, video generation will be perfect, image generation will be perfect, language generation will be perfect, to now being able to plan across multiple time horizons. So at the moment, you can only say to a model, give me a poem in the style of X, give me a new image that matches these 2 styles. It's a sort of one-shot prediction. Next, you'll be able to say, generate me a new product, right? In order to do that, you would need to have the AI go off and do research to look at the market and see what was potentially going to sell, what are people talking about at the moment. It would then need to generate a new image of what that product might look like compared to other images so that it was different and unique. It would then need to go and contact a manufacturer and say, here's the blueprint, this is what I want you to make. It might negotiate with that manufacturer to get the best possible price and then go and market it and sell it. Those are the capabilities that are going to arrive, approximately in the next 5 years. It won't be able to do each of those automatically, independently. There will be no autonomy in that system. But certainly those individual tasks are likely to emerge.